Hey, it's Nurse Claire from Boost Prep, and today we'll be taking the HESI A2 Math Full-Length Exam A. This exam is the same number of questions and same time limit as the actual exam, so let's get into it. Question 1. A university library has different sized study spaces with varying capacities. Blue study rooms, 90 seats, 1 room. Red study rooms, 60 seats, 2 rooms. Orange study rooms, 80 seats, 5 rooms. Green study rooms, 12 seats, 25 rooms. What is the total number of seats in the library? A, 910, B, 1,030, C, 980, D, 1,040. The correct answer is A, 910. So for this question, you first need to add all of these together, but multiply 90 times 1, 90 seats, to figure out how many seats are in each room. So 60 times 2 study rooms, that's 120 seats amongst the 2 rooms. 80 times 5, 400 seats. 12 times 25 is 300. You then want to add 90 plus 120 plus 400 plus 30 together, and that gives you 910. Question 2. 16.45 plus 0.094 equals blank. A, 16.544, B, 16.384, C, 15.356, D, 17.456. The correct answer is A, 16.544. For this question, all you have to do is input these numbers into your calculator and press solve, and that gets you 16.544. Question number 3. A pharmacist is preparing an allergy injection that requires 22.6 milligrams of cortisone and 45.77 milligrams of antihistamine. If the patient receives 35.2 milligrams of the solution, how much medication remains? A, 33.17 milligrams, B, 32.90 milligrams, C, 33.47 milligrams, D, 32.60 milligrams. The correct answer is A, 33.17 milligrams. For this question, you are going to calculate first the total amount of medication, so that's 22.6 milligrams plus 45.77, and that equals 68.37 milligrams. Then you want to find the remaining medication. So for that, you subtract the total, so that's 68.37 minus the 35.2 that the patient has already received to find how much remains for the patient. So that's 33.17. Question number 4. 184.36 minus 95 equals blank. A, 89.16, B, 89.26, C, 90.36, D, 89.36. The correct answer is D, 89.36. So once again, you want to input these numbers into your calculator, press solve, that gives you D. Question 5. 135.70 plus 92.19 equals blank. A, 226.89, B, 227.89, C, 228.89, D, 225.89. Correct answer is B, 227.89. Once again, you plug these numbers into a calculator and press solve. Question 6. Emily withdrew $180.75 from her savings account, which had an initial balance of $512.30. Later, Emily deposited $250 into her account. What is the final balance of Emily's account? A, $581.55, B, $681.55, C, $582.55, D, $582.05. Correct answer is A, $581.55. For this question, you're looking at the initial balance, so that's $512.30. You want to subtract how much you withdrew, so $512.30 minus $180.75, and that gives you $331.55. After depositing $250, that gives you the final balance. So you want to add $250, because that's the amount deposited, to the $331.55, and that gives you $581.55. Question 7. A patient in the recovery room has consumed 22.45 fluid ounces of sports drink and 17.36 fluid ounces of clear broth. The patient's output in the drainage bag shows 12.8 fluid ounces. What is the difference between the patient's fluid intake and output? A, 25.91 ounces, B, 27.01 ounces, C, 26.21 ounces, or D, 26.91 ounces. The correct answer is B, 27.01 ounces. For this problem, you want to calculate first the total intake. So that's 22.45 fluid ounces plus the 17.36. So 22.45 plus 17.36, that gives you 39.81. You then want to calculate the difference. So you're looking at the output from the drainage bag. The difference in the input minus the output is 27.01 ounces. Question 8. Parentheses 4.72 and parentheses times 3.25 equals blank. A, 15.34, B, 15.44, C, 15.54, or D, 15.64. The correct answer is A, 15.34. So you plug these decimals into the calculator, that gives you 15.34 as your answer. Question number 9. 44.8 divided by 5.6 equals blank. A, 7, B, 7.2, C, 8.2, D, 8. Correct answer is D, 8. So once again, you divide the decimal numbers by inputting them into the calculator. That gives you 8. Question number 10. Maria purchased 7 chemistry textbooks. The total weight of the textbooks was 61.55 pounds. How much, on average, did each book weigh? A, 8.75, B, 8.65, C, 8.79, D, 8.5. Correct answer is C, 8.79. For this problem, all you have to do is find the average. So you know that the total weight in pounds is 61.55. You then want to divide by the total number of books. That's 7 divided by 7 is 8.79. So each book on average weighs 8.79 pounds. Question number 11. Subtract 5 over 12 minus 1 over 3 equals A, 1 over 5, B, 11 over 36, C, 13 over 36, D, 1 over 12. The correct answer is D, 1 over 12. For this problem, you need to ensure the fractions have the same common denominator. So you want to make sure both of the denominators are 12. To get to that, you start with 5 over 12 minus 1 over 3. You want to get the 3 to have the same common denominator as the 12. So to do that, you multiply the top and the bottom by 4. The gives you 5 over 12 minus 4 over 12. And then you just subtract. So 5 minus 4 equals 1, and then 12. Question number 12. A patient needs to consume 287 pints of fluid before a medical procedure. The patient has already had 98 pints of water and 42 pints of herbal tea. How many more pints of fluid must the patient drink? A, 137, B, 142, C, 147, D, 152. The correct answer is C, 147. For this problem, you want to first find how much they have already consumed in total. So that's the 98 pints of water and the 42 pints of herbal tea. 98 plus 42 is 140. You then want to figure out how much they still need to consume. So they need to consume in total 287 pints, and then you want to subtract how much they've already consumed, and that gives you 147. Question number 13. Subtract 18 over 6 minus 15 over 9. A, 1 1/3, B, 1 1/6, C, 1 5/3, D, 1 3/8. The correct answer is A, 1 1/3. So for this problem, you want to convert the fractions to decimals to make it easier for your calculator to solve it. So 18 over 6 is equal to 3, and 15 over 9 equals 1.67. So you subtract 3 minus 1.67, that gives you 1.33. And 0.33 is equal to 1/3, so that means that the correct answer is 1 1/3. Question 14. Add 3/4 plus 1/5 equals A, 15 over 20, B, 5 over 20, C, 1 over 20, D, 19 over 20. Correct answer is D, 19 over 20. So for this problem, you want to again find a common denominator. So the common denominator for 4 and 5 is 20. So you write right up here, 3/4 plus 1/5, multiply the top and bottom by each other. So to get 20 from 5, you multiply 5 by 4. And to get from 4 to 20, you multiply it by 5. So that gives you 15 over 20 plus 4 over 20 equals, and then 15 plus 4 is 19, gives you 19 over 20. Question number 15. Add 5 2/5 plus 8 3/4. A, 13 7/10, B, 14 7/10, C, 13 7/10, 20ths, D, 14 3/20. Correct answer is D, 14 3/20. In this case, you want to convert the fractions to decimals. So that gives you 5 2/5 is equal to 5.4. 8 3/4 is equal to 8.75. You then add those together, you get 14.15. You then want to convert back to a fraction for the 0.15. So you can either go through these, write in each, do 3 divided by 20, 7 divided by 20, or another way to do it is you can do 15 over 100 as a fraction and then simplify it. So if you divide both by 5, you get 3 over 20. So that gives you 14 3/20. Question number 16. A climate researcher recorded rainfall in Seattle over 2 consecutive months. In the first month, there were 4 2/5 inches of rain. In the second month, there were 7.5 inches of rain. What was the total amount of rainfall during the 2 months? A, 11 4/5, B, 11 9/10, C, 10 9/10, D, 10 4/5. The correct answer is B, 11 9/10. So for the 2 months, you want to add both of the amounts of rainfall. But to do that, you need to first convert them both to decimals. So 4 2/5 is equal to 4.4. 7.5 is equal to 7.5. 4.4 plus 7.5 is 11.9. Then you want to turn it back into a mixed fraction. So you already have the 11, and then 0.9 equals 9/10. So B is the correct answer. Question 17. 1/4 of a hospital day staff consists of licensed practical nurses. Another 1/8 of the staff consists of medical assistants. What fraction of the day staff do the licensed practical nurses and medical assistants make up combined? A, 1/8, B, 4/8, C, 3/8, D, 5/8. Correct answer is C, 3/8. For this question, you are going to add 2 fractions together that combine the LPNs, licensed practical nurses, and medical assistants. So 1/8 plus 1/4, you want to get the common denominator again. So to get that, you do 1/4 plus 1/8. To get to an 8, you times the 4 by 2 in the numerator and denominator. That gives you 2/8 plus 1/8 equals 3/8. Question number 18. 6 times 2/7 equals blank. A, 6/7, B, 12/7, C, 7/12, D, 11/7. The correct answer is B, 12/7. In order to find the fraction 12/7, you want to think of 6 as 6/1, and then multiply that by the 2/7. You then multiply the numerators. 6 times 2 gives you 12 over 1 times 7 gives you 7. Question number 19. 14/12 times 8/11 equals A, 28/33, B, 11/33, C, 33/11, D, 33/28. Correct answer is A, 28/33. For this problem, you are going to multiply the numerators and the denominators. So you do 14/12 times 8/11. 14 times 8 equals 112. 12 times 11 gives you 132. You then want to simplify it. So divide 112 by 2, 132 by 2. That gives you 56/66. You can simplify it even more by dividing that again by 2. That gives you 28/33, which is A. Question 20. 5/6 divided by 1/3 equals blank. A, 2 1/4, B, 1 1/4, C, 1 1/2, D, 2 1/2. The correct answer is D, 2 1/2. For this problem, you are going to do 5/6 divided by 1/3. When you're dividing a fraction, You figure that out by multiplying by this flipped. So 5/6 times 3 over 1, so flip the 1/3, and then multiply the numerator by the denominator. So 5 times 3 is 15, 6 times 1 is 6. Then to turn the improper fraction into a mixed fraction, you see how many times 6 can go into 15, so that's 2. And then there are remaining 3 of the 6. You can simplify the 3/6 even more by making it 2 1/2. Question 21. 5 1/9 divided by 1/4 equals A, 20 7/9, B, 22 4/9, C, 20 4/9, D, 22 9/4. Correct answer is C, 20 4/9. So again, for this problem, you are going to flip the second fraction. You need to turn the 5 1/9 into a fraction. So to do that, you do 5 times 9 plus 1. That gives you 46 over the 9 divided by 1/4, and then remember you need to do 46 over 9. Flip the second fraction and multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 46 times 4 is 184. 9 times 1 is 9. Then you want to see how many times 9 can go into 184, which is 20. And then that leaves a remainder of 4. So 4 over 9. Question 22. Maria's chocolate cake recipe calls for 4½ cups of sugar. How much sugar would Maria use to make 1/8 of a batch of cake? A, 9 over 16, B, 7 over 16, C, 3 over 16, D, 1 over 16. Correct answer is A, 9 over 16. For this problem, you want to multiply the amount of sugar by the amount that Maria wants to make. So the amount of sugar is 4½ cups multiplied by she wants to make 1/8 of a batch of cake. You need to turn this now into an improper fraction. So 4 times 2 plus 1, that gives you 9 over 2 times 1 over 8. You multiply the numerators. 9 times 1 is 9. 2 times 8 is 16. Question 23. A carpenter needs 1 1/3 rolls of binding wire to wire each room in a workshop. How many rooms can he wire with 6 2/3 rolls of wire? A, 6, B, 5, C, 8, D, 7. The correct answer is B, 5. So to figure out how many rooms he can wire with 6 2/3, you want to divide the total amount of wire available by the amount needed for one singular room. So we have 6 2/3 amount available. 1 1/3 is needed for each room. You want to turn all of these into improper fractions. So to do that, you do 6 times 3, which was the denominator, and then you want to add 2. That gives you 20 over 3. And then 1 times 3. 1 times 3 plus 1 gives you 4. So divided by 4 over 3. And then to divide these amounts, you want to flip the second fraction and multiply. So 20 over 3 times, flip the 4/3, that gives you 3/4. That equals 20 times 3 is 60. 3 times 4 is 12. You divide 60 by 12, that gives you 5. Question number 24. Convert 10 over 27 to a decimal and round your answer to the nearest hundredth place. The correct answer in this case is 0.37. In order to do this, you want to convert the fraction to a decimal. You divide the numerator, 10, by the denominator, 27. You can plug that into a calculator. That gives you 0.370. To the hundredth place would be 0.37. Question 25. Convert 9 over 20 to a decimal. The correct answer in this case is 0.45. In order to do this, you want to, again, divide the numerator by the denominator. Divide 9 by 20, that gives you 0.45. Question 26. Convert 8 and 17 over 50 to a decimal. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth place. Example is 0.87. The correct answer in this case is 0.34. 8.34, sorry. So in order to do this, you already have the 8, and then you want to divide the 17, the numerator, by 50, which is the denominator. That gives you 8.34. Question 27. Change 4.75 into a fraction in its simplest terms. Correct answer is 4 3/4. So for this question, you already know you have a 4, and then you want to simplify a 75 over 100 because 0.75 is 75 over 100 as a fraction. So you divide the top and the bottom by 25. That gives you 3 over 4. So 4 3/4 is the correct answer. Question 28. Change 7.65 into a fraction in its simplest terms. The correct answer in this case is 7 13/20. So to find this, you once again know that you have a 7 already, and then you want to convert 0.65 into a fraction. So you do 65 over 100. You know that 65 and 100 are both divisible by 5. So divide both by 5. That gives you 13, and that gives you 20. So 7 13/20. Question 29. Solve the proportion 0.2 is to 10 as x is to 180. A, 1.2, B, 12, C, 36, D, 3.6. Correct answer is D, 3.6. In this case, you are going to set up a proportion to solve. So the 0.2 is to 10 as x is to 180. So 0.2 is to 10 as x is to 180. You then want to cross multiply. So put the x together and the 10 together and the 0.2 and the 180. So 0.2 times 180 equals 10x. 0.2 times 180 is 36 equals 10x. To get rid of the 10 on both sides, you divide both sides by 10. So 3.6 equals x. Question 30. A recipe indicates that 7 cups of flour will produce 112 cookies. How many cups of flour are needed to make 56 cookies? A, 4.2, B, 3.5, C, 3.8, D, 4. Correct answer is B, 3.5. For this problem, you want to set up a proportion in order to solve the problem. So you know that 7 cups of flour yields 112 cookies. and you want to figure out how many cups of flour X yields 56 cookies. You then cross multiply, so 7 times 56 equals 112x. 7 times 56 is 392 equals 112x. To get rid of the 112 on that side, divide both sides by 112. That gives you 3.5 cups of flour equals X. Question 31. Solve the proportion 24 is to X as 204 is to 17. A, 0.2, B, 2.5, C, 20, D, 2. The correct answer is D, 2. You want to set up a proportion again, so you know that the 24 is to X as 204 is to 17. You then cross multiply again. That gives you 24 times 17 equals 204x. 24 times 17 is 408 equals 204x. Divide both sides by the 204 to get rid of the 204 and leave x by itself. And that gives you x equals 2. Question number 32. Solve the proportion 0.4 is to 10 as x is to 30. A, 1.2, B, 12, C, 120, D, 0.12. The correct answer is A, 1.2. So for this problem, again, you need to set up a proportion. So 0.4 is to 10 as x is to 30. Cross multiply, 0.4 times 30 equals 10x. 0.4 times 30 is 12 equals 10x. To get x by itself, you divide both sides by 10. That gives you x equals 1.2. Question 33. Solve the proportion x is to 3.6 as 8 is to 100. A, 2.88, B, 0.288, C, 0.2, D, 0.82. Correct answer is B, 0.288. Once again, you want to set up a proportion for this. So x is to 3.6 as 8 is to 100. Cross multiply. That gives you 3.6 times 8 equals 100x. 3.6 times 8 is 28.8 equals 100x. Divide both sides by 100 to isolate x by itself. That gives you x equals 0.288. Question number 34. What is 10 out of 80 as a percent? A, 10.5%, B, 12.5%, C, 8%, D, 16%. The correct answer is B, 12.5%. For this problem, you want to divide 10 divided by 80. That gives you 0.125. That gives you the decimal, and then to get to the percentage, you want to multiply that by 100. That gives you 12.5%. Question number 35. What is 153 out of 360 as a percent? A, 43.5%, B, 44.5%, C, 40.5%, D, 42.5%. The correct answer is D, 42.5%. So once again, to get to the percent, you divide 153 divided by 360. That gives you 0.425, so that gives you the percentage, or the decimal, and then you want to get to the percentage. So it's times 100. That gives you 42.5% as your answer. Question 36. What is 15% of 90? A, 12.5, B, 13.5, C, 21.5, D, 28. The correct answer is B, 13.5. So in order to get this, you must first multiply 15%, so make that a decimal, which is 0.15. So 90 times 0.15 is the same thing as 90 times 15%. That gives you 13.5. Question number 37. The number 40 is 25% of what number? A, 100, B, 120, C, 150, D, 160. Correct answer is D, 160. In this problem, you want to set up an equation. Whenever you see the word is, you know that it means an equal sign. So 40 is 25% of what number? So 40 is equal sign 25% of what number? You want to then convert the percentage into a decimal. So move the decimal to turn it into a decimal. And then 40 is 0.25 times x. You want to then isolate x, divide both sides by 0.25. And that means x equals 160. Question 38. Evaluate the expression a squared plus b squared minus parentheses a plus c and parentheses b plus c. If a equals 2, b equals 3, and c equals 4. A, 29, b, negative 29, c, 13, D, negative 13. Correct answer is B, negative 29. So for this problem, you want to just plug in the A's, the B's, and the C's into their corresponding letters. So input all of the numbers given into a squared plus b squared equation. So 2 squared plus 3 squared minus parentheses 2 plus 4 and parentheses, new parentheses 3 plus 4. You then want to use PEMDAS in order to figure out the order of operations in which you are going to calculate everything. So first you do parentheses. So you do the 2 plus 4, that gives you 6, and the 3 plus 4, that gives you 7. After parentheses, you want to do exponents. So this gives you 2 squared, that gives you 4. 3 squared, that gives you 9. This leaves you with 4 plus 9 minus parentheses 6 and 7. So after that, you want to multiply for the M in PEMDAS. So 6 times 7 is 42. This leaves you with 4 plus 9 minus 42. 4 plus 9 is 13, minus 42 is 29. Question 39. Evaluate the expressions a to the third minus b squared plus c minus 3ab. If a equals 2, b equals 5, and c equals 3. A, 11, b, negative 36, c, 24, d, negative 44. Correct answer is D, negative 44. So once again, you have to plug in the numbers to their corresponding letter. So that would give you 2 cubed, or to the third, minus 5 squared plus 3 minus 3, parentheses 2, and parentheses, new parentheses 5. So then you want to, again, do the PEMDAS. So you want to do parentheses first, but what are in parentheses are exponents. So 8, the 2 to the third is 8, 5 squared is 25, and then plus 3. You want to then finish off the parentheses. So 8 minus 25 plus 3, that gives you negative 14. You then want to do the multiplication, so that's 2 times 5, that gives you 10, and then 3 times 10, that gives you 30. So negative 14 minus 30, that gives you negative 44. Question number 40. Solve for x in the equation 9 minus 3x equals negative, parentheses, negative 5 plus x, end parentheses. A, negative 2, B, 1, C, 2, D, 1. Correct answer is C2. For this problem, you are going to combine like terms using algebra and isolate x to solve. So in this case, you want to combine like terms, so we'll start on this side here. The negative up front can be distributed, a negative and a negative makes positive, positive 5, and then a negative 1 times 1x, that's negative 1x. You want to then combine all the x's on the same side. So you want to add the 3x plus 3x. Negative 1x plus 3x is 2x. So 9 equals 5 plus 2x. You can then subtract 5 from both sides in order to get the 5 on the same side, and then the x by itself with the 2x. That gives you 9 minus 5 is 4. And then divide both sides by 2 to isolate x. That gives you x equals 2. Question 41. Solve for m in the equation 5 plus m minus 3m equals 17 plus 4m. A, negative 1, B, 2, C, 1, D, negative 2. Correct answer is D, negative 2. So same as the last question, you're going to use algebra to isolate x and solve for x. So m minus 3m is 2m. You're combining the m's on this side. And then you're going to get the 17 and the 5 on their own side as well. So you can subtract 5 from this side, subtract 5 from this side. That gives you negative 2m plus 12 equals 12 plus 4m, because 17 minus 5 is 12. And then you want to get the m's on the same side. So you can subtract 4m from both sides. That gives you negative 6m equals 12. Then to get the m's by itself, you divide both sides by negative 6. M equals negative 2. Question number 42. What temperature in Celsius is 82 degrees Fahrenheit? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. Example 30. The correct answer in this case is 28 degrees Celsius. So you have to remember the equation in order to go from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So that is C equals F minus 32 times 5/9. So you input the numbers into the equation. So C equals 82 Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9. You then plug that into the calculator. That gives you 27.77. You want to round to the nearest whole number. The nearest whole number is 8, so 28. Question 43. How many millimeters are in 45 inches? A, 1,143, B, 1,968, C, 197, D, 127. Correct answer is A, 1,143. For this question, you need to remember the conversion factor of 1 inch equals 25.4 millimeters in order to solve it. So you have 45 inches in this case. So to get to millimeters, you want to do 45 inches. And you know that there are 25.4 millimeters in 1 inch. So times 25.4, and that gives you 1,143. Question 44. A pediatric nurse weighs a newborn baby at 3.2 kilograms. How much does the baby weigh in ounces? A, 123.2, B, 7.7, C, 112.88, D, 77.4. The correct answer is C, 112.88. You need to then know the conversion factor of 1 kilogram equals 35.274 ounces. You know that the newborn baby weighs 3.2 kilograms, so 3.2. You know that 1 kilogram is 35.274 ounces. You multiply those together, that gives you the 112.88. Question number 45. A patient in the emergency room has lost 1.5 quarts of blood. How many ounces of blood did the patient lose? Correct answer is 48 ounces. So in this case, you need to remember the conversion factor of 1 quart equals 32 ounces in order to solve. So you know that the patient has lost 1.5 quarts of blood. You multiply by 32 because 1 quart is 32 ounces. That gives you 48 ounces. Question number 46. A patient is placed on a fluid diet. Today, the patient consumed the following: 5 cups of water, 3/4 cup of apple juice, a 1/2 cup of applesauce. At the end of the day, the patient's drainage bag indicated 500 milliliters. Calculate the deficit between the intake and output of fluid in milliliters. Use the conversion factor of 1 cup to 236.6 milliliters and round your answer to the nearest hundredth place. Answer is 978.75. So in this case, you need to convert everything to milliliters, and you need to remember the conversion factor that they gave you of 1 cup to 236.6 milliliters. So for water, you know 5 cups times 236.6, that gives you 1,183. And then you do 3/4 cups times 236.6, which you know 3/4 is 0.75. That gives you 177.45. And then a 1/2 cup times 236.6, or 0.5, that gives you 118.3. You then want to calculate the total intake. So 118.3 plus 177.45 plus 118.3. The first number was 1,183, sorry. And that equals 1,478.75. So that's the total intake. You then want to subtract the total outtake from the drainage bag. So that's 1,478.75 minus 500, and that gives you 978.75. Question number 47. What number in Arabic numerals is Roman numeral MM3? The correct answer is 2003. So in this case, you need to know your Arabic numerals. So M represents 1,000. 2 M's represents 2 times 1,000. So that's 2,000. And the 3 means 3. So that gives you 2,003 for MM3. Question 48. Convert to 12-hour clock time, 14:05 and 20 seconds. A, 11 hours, 8 minutes, 20 seconds, PM. B, 1 hour, 8 minutes, 20 seconds, AM. C, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 20 seconds, PM. D, 11 hours, 8 minutes, 20 seconds, AM. Correct answer is C. So to convert from 24 to 12-hour time, you subtract 12 from the hour if it's greater than 12. And then you add PM. So 14 minus 12 is 2, which becomes 2 o'clock PM, still 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Question 49. 9 over 11 divided by 5 over 7 equals blank. A, 45 over 77, B, 55 over 63, C, 77 over 45, D, 63 over 55. Correct answer is D, 63 over 55. To solve this problem, you want to flip the second fraction and multiply. So your first problem is 9 over 11 divided by 5 over 7 equals blank. So to solve this, you do 9 over 11 times, you flip this second fraction, 7 over 5. You then multiply the numerators and the denominators. 9 over 7 gives you 63. 11 over 5 gives you 55. Question number 50. A patient has a 60-day prescription for a medication. If they have taken the medication for 21 days, how many days of the prescription are left? Correct answer is 39 days. So to solve this problem, you are going to subtract the number of days they have taken this prescription from the total amount of the prescription to figure out how many are left. So you know it's a 60-day total prescription. You want to subtract 21 days because that's how many have already been taken. When you subtract that, you plug it into a calculator. That gives you 39. Thanks for taking this HESI A2 math full-length exam with us. For more exams and complete coverage of the HESI A2 exam, visit the link in the description. I'm Nurse Claire from Boost Prep. Good luck!